There we are, going online. All right, this will be my first Google Hangout chat. So see if I can find where I do the share links. Invite people, maybe. Yes. All right. Control All right, then I'll just post this one in the Facebook group where we have all the other Arcworlde people. Right, sorry, I forgot to wish you welcome. My name is Dogfin, aka Dingham, and I'll be doing a little painting session here. It's more like a hangout, really. Where we just meet up and chat and talk and paint our miniatures. Sorry for my eyes being a bit intense, but I'm trying to do two things at once, and we know that's difficult for us sometimes, at least after a full day. Right. So, right, I'm just posting invite to the other guys that I'd be expecting to join in. I just hope somebody does join in. Right, let's see. Where do we have the links? Maybe YouTube link. There we are. All right. Found it. Just remove that one. And let's just pop this one in as well into the Facebook group for the Arcworlde members. Watch on YouTube. Let's see. Let's just edit this one just so it says. Use this link if you want to join. I certainly hope somebody does want to join because, well, I enjoy painting anyways, but yeah, it's always, at least when you're doing a social event, it's okay if it's a social event. All right, so now I'm done with the sort of all the technical stuff, and we can really start it for real. I'll do the introduction again. My name is Dogfin, aka Dingham, and I am a huge fan of Warplock and the miniatures that they do and the game they make that I play. It's the Arcworld. It's a skirmish game, and it's fantastic. So, well, the thing that really blows me off is the miniatures. They are so characterful and filled and enjoyable. I'm the commander of the Cushington Brigade that I also do a blog on the Facebook group for Arcworlde fan group. If you're not a member, join in. It's a great little place for guys that enjoy the game. All right, so my project tonight is continuing this thing fling. I just barely started it. It's the final piece of the original Kickstarter set that came out back in 2014. I haven't been too fast at painting these guys. Just squeezing in between having time as a family dad and a full-time working adult. So you really have time to do the hobby things. But yeah, this is the final, actually the final model of the original set. I got all the starter models done, all the militias and captain, and well, not exact the models, but I do sort of have a captain, not the captain within the Kickstarter, but a captain. And I also got some older models that painted up instead of the Kickstarter. So, but yeah, it's the basic warband. It's all but completed. And then on top of that, it's the thing fling. I've done the crew already, and now it's for the thing flinger itself. So it's been a few days since last I painted, so I'm trying to figure out what color I painted this this machine on. Right, just splat it up and right, have a go. Just do a quick pop over to Facebook just to see if anybody's posted any interest in it. I doubt it really, but if you do watch it and not want to join in, but just want to watch and tag along, that's fine as well. But please drop me a line in the comment section just to let me know that that you're there. So, and if you're not, you could also be watching it later on. But that'd be no use in commenting really, because I don't think the comments are saved for the saved on the video that's posted on YouTube later. Right, I'm let's see, brush licker, and it's a bad habit. It's like something we get told not to do, and we do it anyways, and we tell everybody else not to do it, and they probably end up doing it as well because they do what we do and not what we say they should. But yeah. So the big news these days within Arcworld, it's that the latest Kickstarter, the one that was held last autumn, the Troubles in the North, have been shipped. Not only that, it's been received by a great deal of people in the UK. For me, living in Norway, it's the package has yet to arrive, though I'm very excited. Seen images of the models. Oops. And they are gorgeous looking, as you would expect. I am mainly a halfling player. As I said, the Cushington Brigade, it's a halfling warband. For them, there was a mounted ram mounted, or sheep ram mounted trooper with a lance and sturdy looking metal plated armor, and there were 3 fabulous great swords. They were actually so great that I got 2 sets of them. 2 sets of those and 3 models of the mounted one. The only trouble with the mounted one is that it's sort of like a leaning forward. The ram is like jumping over a hurdle or something, an obstacle, and it's quite a distinct pose on the model with the ram, so like landing on its 4 legs. Not 4 as in the number, but front legs. And yeah, it does provide a great pose, but for that model. But when you have many of them, it does look a bit strange. So I've been trying to figure out a way to get more of them, multiple ones. Right, so I think I'm going to switch my brush because this one was one of my good brushes, and I don't try tearing the house down. Yeah, so just find another brush that's not that expensive, at least for the basic groundworks, but still fine enough so I don't really mess it up. That's a dry brush, that's a bad idea. I do like these ones. It's all a bit long, but I'm poking somebody's eyes out. But yeah. So the mounted one, I wanted to convert something, and I bought there was also a mounted female model, Brumhilde. So she was like mounted captain with sword, and she only got a sword really and long flowing hair. So I was thinking of chopping her up and putting a spear halfling on it. Maybe even a standard bearer of sorts. So having another one would be a great one to have a standard bearer, mounted standard bearer. So like a unit army standard, not when you convert this army up for, because that's the idea. This army is going to serve a twin purpose. That's why I got so many of everything. I bought like 3 of every model, 2 or 3 of every model, because the idea with time and effort, I'll be having enough to make a Kings of War army. And because I was originally into Warhammer Fantasy, and once that sort of like changed into Age of Sigmar, I sort of dropped out. And now that I have started this new project, the Kickstart, the Warblock Arcworld stuff, I've sort of come to miss the army, but I do want the army side of the game. I do like the skirmish game. I've always been a fan of small skirmish games, just fun, quick games that you can play. And I think that is, in that respect, the Arcworld stuff is fantastic because it provides you with a skirmish game that is, as long as you know it, know the game, you can set it up and play it for almost like a board game. And because if you get the Battle for Trowbridge starter set, it is basically all in a box, and you set it up and you can even introduce it to your friends. And for the character, if you print the character sheets as well, they well, at least with the ones that I've introduced it to, they seem to catch on very quickly. Midway through the game, they feel like they know what they're doing, and that's brilliant, because then it is really, compared to setting up one of the, not the easier board games, like the ones we all know how to play, but a bit more complicated board games that board games enthusiasts like to play. And you can, if you paint them up as well, it looks good. The models certainly do, and you do need a bit of scenery to play the troll bridge, but most of us got that lying around already anyway. So, and if you don't, you can always just use pieces of card, paper, different sizes, and green cloth as a gaming table, and you're set. I've even done it with other just random stuff we found around the house that sort of like, oh right, this will do and this will do, because once you get into the gaming mode, it's all make believe anyways. So we make believe that this is this and this is a tree and this is a hill, and the imagination sort of like builds layers on top of whatever's there from beforehand. Of course, the better you do the scenery, the better it will be naturally. All right. So yeah, back to the Kickstarter. There are some lovely new fractions there as well. The human fraction of the Norseworld. So like they are basically Vikings, but with everything else in Arcworld, Alex has taken the standard wargaming fantasy universe and just added a bit of his own aspect to it. So they are Vikings, but they're not like crude, hairy blokes that run around with tattoos, and they seem a bit more sophisticated, really, than the normal Vikings. And the model I really love with the Njosvar's got it's the troll with a spear chucker or a bolt thrower strapped to its back. So and that's a beautiful model. I've been trying to be a bit restrictive of how many models I get, because I know that my painting time is limited, as you can see, this being a 3-year-old model that's been lying around. And I haven't really got the time to paint them, so I try to limit the amount of models that just lies about. And so, but the trolls I've got, the trolls are, they're not the thing, the spear chucker bolt thrower troll, but the other trolls did. I remember following him back in when Alex started out. He was just posting his. That was back in the days of the forums, when they were, before they dwindled away. And the forums, where they put up a had a blog on the Warhammer forum, and yeah, he posted trolls that he made, and they were fantastic. And I said to myself that those I want, but it wasn't until he made the halflings that I've really said to myself, all right, now I'm committing money to it. It was, and then later on, I've got all the trolls, so it was sort of like a one of those models that you like, but you don't really know what to do with them. And at that time, I was a committed gamer, not a hobbyist. So I didn't buy models I liked just because I liked them. I had to like have a purpose on them. I could have bought it and have it. I do have a few models that I like just because I like them, but they always end up at the back of the queue, because the ones that can be used or I intend to use for something are the ones that end up painting. I end up hating painting. All right, so yeah, just doing another quick layer of brown on this one. So I'm thinking of doing this one just quick and easy with a prime coat of brown and a wash, and then a dry brush. Really, I don't really think I'm going to bother so much about highlighting. I'm going to do a bit more work on this crew member standing here, so you can see him pointing it. I am going to give him a bit more attention as he is, and also there's some symbols on the front that are a bit of a eye catcher, and those are going to get a bit more attention. But as a whole, this model is just basically just going to get. I just want to get it done so that I can get on with the new stuff. That's also something that I've limits myself to. That once it starts, I select a few models. In this case, it was the Thing Flinger and Crew, and I sort of want to complete those before I move on to anything else. And now that the Troubles in the North stuff is just around the corner, I will most likely do something of that later. There was a special model that I'm looking forward to painting up. It's the Crimson Rita. Was in the Troubles in the North. It's like a special character he made, and it's another female model. Somehow his female halflings are always a bit nicer. I think that's without question of doubt, without any exception. They are nicer than the male counterparts. Here got a alternative female captain. That's the one I painted up and I enjoy playing with, as in a game of Arcworld playing with. For you naughty boys out there and girls. All right, and I also have also made a female model for the Heroes of the Hobbleshire expansion that they did. Just that was just around salute time last year, April, and that female model is superior to the male models in that set, in my opinion. And in the Troubles in the North, he did two. He did the Crimson Rita, was sort of like a loner, sort of like a model or a character that goes around killing on her own free will, and she has this not plate mail and not chain mail, but sort of like she has like bits of pieces of metals strapped onto her armor, as her armor, and again, long hair and beautiful expression. So like, it's really, I think his female halflings are better, and also the chef. Those were one of the first models I painted for Arcworld. It was the halfling chefs. I did a pair of them. And she had sort of like a rolling pin in her hand and an apron. She looks gorgeous really. So so yeah, those are the only halfling female models he's made, and they are all superior to the males. All right, so yeah, yep, that's the. I think that's the base coat brown laid down. You really need to go over these models a few times with the brush just to make sure that everything is covered. And I can get going. All right, so if you're just joining me, please drop a line in the Hangout chat so that I know, you're there. Up until now, I'm just chatting along on my own, just in case somebody's coming along. Just put the message in here. Hi. And right, and I'll just also come over to the Facebook group just to see if anybody's asking how to get into the chats. There's been a few notifications. Let's see. Nope, not there. And there's been the whopping amount of 1 like. That comment with no comments on it. All right. We've been doing this for like 23 minutes, I can see. So I'll just carry on. Martin Hawk is the one who's liked it. So Martin, if you're there, please let me know. And maybe even joining in a bit in the chat. You don't have to be painting or something, but just glad to know if you're there. All right, I'm just going to pop out, get myself another cup of coffee, and I'll be right back. All right, now we're back again. Letting the paint dry a bit on the model as well. Let's see. What can we do now? Yeah, could probably just go straight ahead inking the thing. I think I'm going to do that. Getting the base coat, base layers of this huge model down first. Well, it's not huge, but in Arcworld comparison, it's not really huge at all. For those of you who've seen the model range, he got some fantastic, huge models like dragons and the behemoth Leviathan. It's a undead flying whale. Where else would you get that one? But it's sort of like a model that either people love or they don't really get. I think the most often one is that they don't know what to use it for. You might like the model, as I said before. You might get models that you like, but you think awesome, but you don't really know what to use them for. And then you're stuck with it, and you don't really end up in the back of the queue. So yeah, then there's no really point in getting it because you're not going to be painted. Right, I see I have one viewer. Let's see. Hello and welcome. I hope you've been enjoying it. Right. Yep. No more comments here then. Nope. Right, I'll just continue with my painting then. So yeah. Let's just get this layered on here. Just let the paint do the job and just soaking into the cracks, and then we can get onto the dry brushing and more detailed work. I remember back in the days of Warhammer, I used to just do them extremely quick and dirty and just get my models done. That was the most important thing. But with the Arcworld thing and the limited amount of hobby time I get, it's sort of like my quality time. I've found that just sitting around painting and getting that nice atmosphere around myself, surrounding myself, really makes me relax. Right, so this one should probably be painted a bit different. I had to do that again later. It's the stub of the tree. That's normally a bit brighter in color. So I just do that a bit brighter later on. Right, so yeah, it'll be a bit like the old days, this model, just quick and easy, just to get it done. Not that much attention to details, although, as I said, with the man on it, I'll probably had to do that, give that halfling a bit more attention than the rest of the model, on the contraption itself, because that's really just pieces of wood. And well, there are a few interesting details on it. I think that's also something typically done by Alex at Warblock, who sculpts all the models. He adds small quirky things, just a little every here and there, just to break things up. And because if the models get too smooth and too uniform, so like if you just get with nothing really interesting on them, they get boring to paint and they get boring to look at. But if they have like this small snail on top of this one, and some say horseshoe for good luck on it as well. Oh yeah, I remember that one. He posted the image of this work in progress. Back in the blog days, he did a lot of work in progress images of the stuff he was making. So we really got to have a look into what's going on and sort of look over his shoulder and see what's going on at the painting, or sort of like sculpting desk he was doing. And it was really fun. But that's sort of like a thing of the past now that he's running a company. And I guess we've learned the lessons from the forum days, and I bet I've been sort of like a pain in his backside because of a few models that I really, really loved, and I was sort of like, go back and remember that one, I like that one. And if he doesn't like it, if he's not satisfied with it, he will never hear the end of it as long as it's out there. He could do as he does, just like, yeah, I know what you're saying, I hear what you're saying, but this is my business, so I'm doing the stuff that I like. But yeah, so it is a smart move of him not to show as much, but then again, he does produce an amazing amount of models. He did the entire Troubles in the North Kickstarter models within a year span, single-handedly, and from what I've heard and what I've seen, he's been making more models and sort of like discarding some and saving some for later, and all the while all the while building on the ones that should be in the Kickstarter. And I don't think he ever. I think the days where he puts up models just because of popular demand is. I don't say it's a thing of the past, but he does have he has his biggest sort of like critique. Nobody likes his work less than he do, sort of, because he wants to make sure the models are top notch before they get out there, and I respect that. I respect that a lot, because that's just come to show that what we really do get is they have his stamp of approval on them, and I think he's always evolving, and I know that when he's putting out something new, it will be a great improvement to what's been there before. Might be a little bit different, but it'll still be way better. He's been doing this full time. I think that's the with the age of digital sculpting. He's been doing this with putty and scalpel and sculpting tool. It's like old school crafting, and I admire that, because even though you can with the digital tools, you can really zoom it up and have great precision in what you're doing digitally. You don't really get the same hands-on experience, I guess. I think that's what's sort of like what I do like about the Warpluck models. Sorry, that's my son. I said when I started this Hangout, I needed to have the kids in bed before I could start painting, and I failed. One of them is not in bed; he's in the sofa in the living room where I'm sitting. So yeah, we might have a visitor later on. Once see if he wakes up or if I'm disturbing him too much. Yeah. Right. So another place I need to get some ink on. I've never really considered myself a great painter. So if you're tuning into this Hangout to see some great painting tips, I'm afraid you come to the wrong place. But if you like to hear a middle-aged man ramble about toy soldiers, that he probably like a bit more than the average guy does, then you come to the right place, because that's sort of like it's this is my sort of #1 hobby at the time, and it's my getaway. So I don't get to do this as often as I like, and when I do it, it's not always they're getting me into the mood. Sometimes, you know, you just have too many things go around in your head, and yeah, you can't really zone in. But tonight, I think I've been looking forward to doing this Hangout, because it's a way for me to, as I said, unwind. With Christmas coming up and everything, I find that some hobby time is greatly appreciated. All right, just another quick check on Facebook. See if anyone else comes in. And let's see. That's the only other place that I've posted the link, so it's not like I have a great deal of followers on YouTube. But it is for the Arcworld Facebook group community, and anybody else that's into that group. So yeah. Nope, no more comments from the Facebook group, and so I just continue on rambling. Let's see what to do now. I can do the twine. I'm not quite sure of what I have here. When I've been painting this model the last time around, I was trying to figure out how it works. And as far as I can tell, it's sort of like a spring that's sort of like wound down. And these pull it back up. I can't really make it out. But then again, I'm no halfling engineer. They might have figured out a smarter way to do it. But what I need to know is if that is metal or if it's rope. As it is a sort of like on the move contraption, I'm guessing it's rope. I'm not sure really. I think I might have to do a bit of Googling just to make sure that that I've got it right. Right, so we do a image search on halfling thing here. Images. And maybe use a different search engine. Let's see. this. Images, if there's anything painted up. Some work in progress images of it and some green shots, but I can't seem to find it. Nope. I think I have to make it up my own. So yeah, let's see. All right, let's got a message. Woohoo! A company. Let's see. It's Rob Huntley. It's the man doing the casting. He said that he's left me a message, but I can't see it. I'm guessing that's the one person viewing. Hello, Rob. Nice of you to join in. Hope you're enjoying my rambling. Because let's see. Group chats. Nope. That might be the chat that I'm seeing. It might be the one only for the ones in the chat. So I might have to go on YouTube, multitasking on my phone, and have a look at it there. Right. All right, just to watch on YouTube. Let's see if I can see myself. Right. Right. It's a bit of lag, but that's okay. I don't get the chat up here. That's too bad. All right. Anyways, good Rob Huntley, who commented, uses the Facebook chat instead. So it's okay, Rob. As long as it's not completely in vain. But at least somebody's along. It's okay. Anyways, the main thing is to paint up, and doing the Hangout, which is something I wanted to do. I was hoping to have a few others along, but yeah, as long as I get a bit of painting done, that's good. All right. What's next then? I should probably be doing. You know, I think I'm going to do that as metal. So like a spring that's sort of like wound up. Right. And yeah. Then do the rope and twine on this one. Let's see. Ooh. Pop. Yep. Right then. Just put it on here. Layer it on. So these ones are going on in bone color. Just putting it on here. So like base coating, I think that's sort of a smart thing to be doing while doing a Hangout. If I'm going to be concentrating a bit more with highlights and whatnot, then I'll be probably be too far into the painting bubble to speak at the same time. So yeah, strange about the chat. I need to have a look at how that works for a later Hangout. This is my first Hangout that I do. I've been taking part in some of the other Hangouts I've been doing by the Arcworld. Well, with the Arcworld crew, it was Adam Boyce, Boise, who was responsible for the technical side of it back then. And I was just tagging along because I enjoyed the model painting and wanted to get involved. And now I've sort of step up to trying to do it myself. And yeah, it's not really that hard. You just have to. It took me a few attempts, and found some great tutorials on YouTube on how to do a YouTube live broadcast as well as a Google Hangout. And yeah, it was actually very easy once I got hold of it. Still a few notches I need to sort out how to do, like the chat that the viewers can see, but I can't. Might be able to see my own broadcast. No, I can't. Can't see my own broadcasts on the computer. I need to watch on another screen, but as that other screen is an Android, I didn't get the chat up. I just got the picture and the sound, of course. So yeah. You remember back at Salute when I was back there, I met up with the entire Warplock crew, and I was asked by Rob Huntley. Do you remember that, Rob? When if I got the thing playing around, as you clearly could see, this one was, I think this is the last one of the old ones. There is actually one of the one halfling that's been produced that I don't have, and that's because it was sort of like one of those things that Alex had to do really quick in order to get stretch goals up. And that was the Brindy team, and that was I think one of the. I didn't get it because I had to have the entire Brindy team in order to get it. And as I know, models that I know won't get painted up, I don't really see any point in buying. Other than I could have done it just to support the Kickstarter, but it was already hitting the marks by the bucket load, so I didn't really see it making any difference. Me chucking that one in as well, but yeah, just hope I can catch up on the painting, because Alex is producing models faster than I managed to paint them up. So, and I think that sort of blows my mind a bit, because he managed to make models for the halfling range, who's one of 9 factions at the moment, and he still managed to make more halfling models for that than I managed to paint up. Sorry, so yeah, I'm lagging behind. There's a bit of rope behind here as well. Paint up that as well. Once I've done that, I should probably be going back to the wood and do the dry brush, just to get the details up. Let's see. All right. So right, so now I've probably been talking for a few hours, and not a few hours, but at least half an hour. I was starting to get dry mouthed. I don't think it's a good. I don't think it helps. I've chosen to drink coffee and not water. But yeah, and you do sort of run out of subjects to talk about when you. If I'm going to do another hangout like this one, I probably would make sure that somebody's around to talk to me before I start hosting it. I was hoping that a few guys from the forum, so not forum, but the Arcworld group, would join in, but they might have been busy. So a guy named Ian, I think, said he wanted to join in, but he probably couldn't make it as well, because he only had a phone to communicate on. Right. And let's see. And if you haven't seen it already, if you're seeing this, you probably have seen as well the new Christmas special model, and I think that's something also that I really enjoy with Warplock. That's a community model that the community said, "Why we want to do this, we want to do this," and that's what Alex is playing along with it. I made a model based on ideas that sort of community has been dreaming of. I've talked to others about it a few times, in both in comment sections and in real life, and they said, right, I was part of this thing, or this happened after we talked about it, so the community gets involved, and Warplock is interested in that. So like feedback and ideas from the community. I think that's a good idea. So it makes it a bit ours as well, because we're part of it. Yeah. Promote it a bit more. So, yeah. But I guess that's becoming less and less of that type of interaction as the world of Arcworld is sort of settling down. Back in the early days, it was a bit unknown what it was, the models. In the really old days, there were just a lot of cool looking models that nobody really knew what they're going to use them for. When the game came along, we got something great to use them for, and as well as using them in other armies as well. Oops, sorry about the shaking. Could always use them as proxy models in other games, or showcase pieces. But with the game that is a great game in itself, it's very cinematic. The game, and I find that when I'm playing it, I feel like I'm taking part in it's like a story or making a chapter of something. It's like an episode of the campaign with my warband. So, and because of that, I think the game really lends itself to campaign mode. I would love to see a feature that's within future editions of the game where you can build your warband over time and earn money and prestige and win lands, and it doesn't have to be that complicated really either. It could be just be fictional. So like I think it's a bit like I want to play two other games that have a campaign mode. It's be that Blood Bowl and Mordheim, and both of those games have a very simple in-between game session. You really do it at the end of the game. You sort of like roll dice for upgrades and casualties and how much money you get, and you sort of spend that in between the games. And if you do that, it could be a really simple campaign mode. It doesn't have to be as advanced as let's say a role-playing Dungeons and Dragons type of thing where you have to work on a character between games, or even a system where you have to where the in between games is a game in its own. You could have a game that is so like so complex. But I think personally, I think very simple. Right, you win a game and you gain something. I have this idea where you when you win a game, you draw a card from the tarot deck, which is a wonderful accessory to the game, and you draw a card. If you win, or you survive, or whatever, and then when you start collecting them, you start building a sort of like you can build combinations like you do in poker. You have one pair, two pair, three of a kind, a straight, a flush, full house. And when you have, let's say you have a full house, that will give you access to another hero or another captain level or something, or another mage or more arcanite, you know, something simple that builds your warband, and we should have, I think, a bit of a rating sort of thing. You could also do it in linked up to the scenario-based gaming. Each game has when you play the game, you score victory points, and depending if you get great advantage over the opponent in terms of victory points, you get a better outcome. But if your war game rating or sort of warband rating is so much lower than the opponent that you are sort of like outperformed in sort of way, your opponent needs that much better. They need to slaughter you in order to get a card, and if you win, you get even more, even sort of like even bigger bonus. So things will even out in some way. I haven't really thought that through, and I'm not that into game design, so I can't really balance things out. I'm more like the type of guy that comes up with crazy ideas, and most of those ideas are easily discarded, but I hope that some of them stick. And I think that sort of like winning the game and scoring cards for your warband is it both fit with the game mechanisms that is already there, and using stuff that's already there. And it's also, I also think it fits with the style of the game, making it quick and story-based, story-driven. So yeah, right, starting to get done on this. I always tend to overload the brush when I'm painting stuff like this, just like boring base coats. And the brush really doesn't like me using it that way. I've been trying to improve on my brush care as well, because when you start investing in a bit of money in a good brush, then you want it to last. I've really spent a great deal of money on these brushes, but it's not like they're top range models, but they're still sable brushes, so they should be treated with care. All right. Nope. That wasn't anything. Oops. Right. Don't really know how long I'm going to continue on. I guess this video will be available on YouTube later, so people could probably check it out then, but I might just end up deleting it But let's see if it gets any views, and try to do better Hangout the next time. The initial idea was to have a Hangout once, so like all the backers have got that. Not all of them. Probably a bit too much, because world shipping could take as much as a month or two. And then a lot of people that already got the models were probably a bit not fed up with them, but it would probably blown over a bit by then. So the buzz in the UK were rather high, and that's why I wanted to do it now, while the UK backers were still eager. Let's see. Right. These sort of models that you have to really try to work a way to get the brush in on the right places. It's really, really annoying. It's because you can see the spot that needs painting, but you don't really know how to get the brush in there, because it's another piece of the models getting away. Right. Just spreading it on. Anyways, there's a lot of big news happening on Friday. That's tomorrow. And I think we might have been gifted a free view on it yesterday already. Alex was going to post the new website and the new models. We already seen Skibdrage, or Skibdrag, Skibdrag. I think it's pronounced in Danish. Skibdrag, Skibdrage, Skibdrag. Which I love that model. I don't play New Oswald, but I do have a few monsters, and that monster is fantastic. It's so like what it says in the description. It's a sort of evil spirit that's manifested within the ship. And once that ship has been wrecked and drawn sink to the bottom of the sea, the evil spirit sort of pulls the ship together and makes a body out of it. So it's like a wooden pile of wood and shipwreck with sort of like I don't think it's called Maidenhead, but it's sort of like the dragon at the front of a Viking ship. That's sort of like the head of the model, and it looks sinister. So I have to have that one, and I think I'm going to have the for the Christmas model as well, just to fill it up, I think. Right, so now I just took an intuitive decision of making this coil here out of rope and not brass. All right, it might look better with rope anyways, because it's keeping within the earth tones of the browns, and instead of adding any more metal. And in here, it's just another piece of the model where it's very, very hard to get the paintbrush into. So what happened yesterday was that Alex was probably working on the website, and as he was doing it, suddenly new stuff appeared. What I think happened was that he added the models into the website, into the web shop, and we started making comments about it. Also, it was a lot better viewability for tablets and Android phones and mobile devices, because that's been a bit tricky in the past to see things clearly on a tablet, not a computer. So once you got it on a mobile device, it wasn't that easy to see what you were looking at and buy stuff from the shop. So that feature was probably added, but keeping all the original graphics. And so we made comments on it, and Alex thought, oh shoot, everything's been released. The cat is out of the bag. They can see what I'm doing, and he just launched it, I think, yesterday, and it's a greatly improved layout. It's magnificently much more good looking, and it's keeping with this Troubles in the North sort of like color scheme with the dark blues and the whites, sort of snow rims, and it looks very good. It does look very good, and all the different factions have their own image, but they are tied together in form of the same frame and coherency in the themes. So they do really look ace. And as many others, I've added a few things to my basket that I'm going to get. Among those, that Skipdraget, and Father Christmas, I think. Sorry, like Father Christmas. And yeah, but I'm just holding back until tomorrow, because you never know what suddenly he'll double the amount of models in there, or he might not do anything. He might have put everything out there all at once. Yeah, so let's see what's coming up. I'm still just keeping that excitement as it comes. And then I guess that our good racing caster Rob Huntley will have plenty to do during the Christmas holidays, casting up new models. Oops. So this is turning out. All right, what time is it? Almost 11 p.m. So I might just tag along for another half an hour or so, and then I'll call it a night. So let's just see how far I get along on the project. because I think that's the that's probably what was going to control my time schedule. Is not the clock, but the work, how well it progresses and how it doesn't progress. And once it doesn't progress, no point in continuing on, is there? So yeah. Let's see, let's say I forgot all the rope based. There's knots under the pot. It's a bit tricky. Oops. That's my probably should have been using a bit of wire to stick it on, but I haven't, so let's see if I can get it done anyways. That's cork. Works very well too. And I'm gonna have this one with the models on top of it, so I can get a nice grip of it while I was working on it. But the thing flinger machine was a bit too big for it anyway. So, and I also mounted this magnet on the bottom here, and I have small metal plates on my workstation, so it just clicks, so I can set the model away without being afraid that it might tip and damaging the paint job. So yeah. Right. I probably had to go back and redo this at some point. Sharpen it up, but I've had enough of it for now. The rope color. I'm just going to. Oops. No. The glue on the magnet loosened. That's also another thing, how this small pin tack thing, can't really see it, that I've glued onto the magnet, and that would help me so I can change between difference, just simply pulling the, which is like glued on there, and just I can pull it out and put it onto another one whenever I have to change. But I might have to switch from super glue to putty or something. I don't really know how to do it. All right. Now for the bit of dry brushing. Nope. I can't remember what color I used for the. Was it this one? Yeah, I think so. And yeah. Yep, shake it up, baby. Let's do some dry brushing. Let's see. Just gently, gently. See if we can get this result just the way that I wanted it. Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. Starting gently, just so don't get any sudden huge spots of paint. It would be horrible. Yeah, this can work. I think this is actually spot on. Yes, I reckon that quite a few of us guys in the wargaming community is a bit in the same boat. Christmas coming up, and everything we can think about is the new Arcworld miniatures that we got. So, and I've made sort of like a wish list for my family and friends. Saying this is what I want for Christmas, and it contains links to models that they have probably no idea whatsoever is, unfortunately. But I'm hoping that I'll get some. That's the thing with Christmas gifts. You can always wish for something that you know you can't really justify getting yourself. So I hope that I get some of them. Let's see. Get this one to work out great. All right. Forgetting to talk in between the paintbrush sessions here. But yeah, forgot that I have a viewer, and I'm actually doing a YouTube broadcast. So Yeah, this does give a bit of a weathered wood effect. A bit what you would expect from thing flingers made out of whatever happened to be available on the battlefield. I imagine that they have to bring with them key parts like the spring mechanisms and ropes and stuff like that. This will probably have to be brought along, but the wood and the pot there as well. I reckon that the first shot of the day would be last night's leftovers. Not that being halflings, I don't expect it to be too much leftovers, anyways. But bit of old stew right in your face, shitload of chicken bones and something like that. Right. So as I said, I have no idea if the chat is working because I haven't figured that one out. But I'm at a whopping 3 viewers at the moment. Hello to the new guys who's been tagging along. The video will be available on YouTube afterwards, so you will be able to watch it back afterwards. Just listening to me ramble while I trying to paint up this. See if it gets any focus on the camera. It's bad lighting, I see. At least on my screen. It is the halfling thing flinger, one of the original Kickstarter models, and I believe this one also was conceived in the days before the Kickstarter. It's a makeshift catapult of sorts that the halfling use. I haven't really tried it in game yet because I've been all the games I've had 2 types of game. The demo gaming I've been using to do, trying to get people into the game. That's sort of like the same scenario over and over with limited models and types like that. No magic, for instance. So that's the one type of game I've been having. That's the one I have clearly the most of, and when you do those type of games, you can't really. Well, I could have had a thing along. I might do that at some point, just to see how it works, really. And the other type of games that I've been having was over the internet, and that was a bit tedious because it's not the same. It can't really be the same when the guy you're playing at is many miles away, and you only communicate through so like headsets, microphones. So and you don't really have anything physical to. You don't throw the dice yourself. You don't move the models, just so you pick them up and you place them digitally, and that's not really the same. It was also a testing thing, so we couldn't really. It didn't turn out as great as I wanted it to, and we didn't get as many games in as we like. So and that's also limited amounts of gaming time. So now with the troubles in the north, I have I know that two people in my gaming community have bought models, and there's a chance that I might even get to play some real games at some point, and we might even have to play on a regular basis, like once a month, maybe even more often than that would be awesome. But let's see what the future holds. Some guys have more time on their hands than others, and I don't know if these guys are, well, they most likely have more time than I do. But if we can combine them so we can play at the same time. I've moved about a bit during my adult life, and it's not like they just moved houses, that changed cities, and even sort of like areas of the country. There is a 9-hour drive to my previous home from where I live now, and then again the last time I moved. So first gaming community was in Oslo that I lived, and the guys I played with there lived in Oslo, and that was great fun. The competitive Warhammer communities, and also a few more social games, and then I moved to Stavanger, and that's 6-7 hours away by car from Oslo. So I had to set up trying to find a new gaming community, and I did find that, but I wanted to be what the other gaming community was, and of course it wasn't, because it was something else. And so that didn't really turn out great. Now I moved again to Ålesund, and that's also a great place to live. But once more, I have to figure out what the gaming community here is about and try to blend in, really. Yeah. Let's see what happens now that they are into Arcworld, and I've got a few models. So yeah. All right. I've got a comment here from. Oh yeah. There's a bit of activity on the Facebook group for Warplock Arcworld, and that's the past month. That group has really been buzzing. People being excited about the upcoming miniatures and showing off the parcels and the brutality of some postal office workers. And then discovering that molds have survived despite the boxes being torn apart. Some few exciting stories out there on the Facebook group. And that's something I really enjoy about Arcworld. It is sort of a small gaming community, and I do feel that many of those guys in there are. It's almost like, oh, you're playing Arcworld, right? Let's be friends. It's like when you see somebody playing Arcworld, it's like a game recommending a friend, and not a friend recommending a game. So the other way around. And you just feel like instantly you have something to talk about. with somebody else. And yeah, that's what I'm trying to say is that there are a few very great blokes and even girls hang around the Arcworld forum group, Arcworld Facebook group. So the forum is never really happened. That was something that was discussed back in the days of the original Kickstarter, that we should have a Facebook, sort of like a forum, Arcworld forum. But I think the Facebook fan group is the official Facebook fan group is that and so much more, because it's a good thing, and it started there because then we stuck with it there and not in some half functional forum, because the forum format is a bit it's a bit, it's not as easy to just pop a picture up. You grab a picture with the camera on the phone and you just pop it straight into the Facebook group. It's done in minutes, not even that. You can just point and click and post, and as such, it gets very interactive. You can easy access the Facebook group, and you can share things that you like. If it would have been a forum, you had to upload the images to a server, and then you had to use a bit of code to share that image, and you had to scroll through the comment sections. So, oh, sorry, I was only the microphone, the brush hitting the microphone, and not me poking myself in the eye. As I said originally, these paintbrushes, it's a good few inches long. I think it's almost 10 inches long. That's a charger range of my old Wood Elf models. I remember having that 10-inch range, yes, sort of sorted out in my head. So yeah, 10 inches, not quite 10 inches. So that's a good, healthy-sized brush. Right, I think I'm just about done now. I might have to, as with all my model work painting jobs, I probably have to go over it once more later, just to when I get it on a better light and see that I missed the spots. Just to see that I got it right. I think it's actually turning out quite nice. It's a lot of wood on this one. There's a lot of beautifully aged wood. I really do like really distinguished wood, both in real life and on models. So it makes it look good. Right, that's that way. Okay. All right. I think this is about it. It is 11 p.m. here, and I think I'll call it a night then. After all, it's another day tomorrow, and the kids have to get up and all that. So, right, thank you for watching. And good night, Rob. Yeah, I think you've been the one sticking with me for most of the time. I want to do another hangout in a week's time or so. Yeah, when the European backers have got all of them have got their own copy of the vaults. So yeah, have a good night, and until later then, I'm Dengham, Master of the Cushington Brigade.